candidates under consideration to replace fired FBI Director James Comey. Senator John Cornyn. Cornyn is the number 2 Senate Republican and a former Texas Attorney General and State Supreme Court Justice. He has been a member of the Senate GOP leadership team for a decade and serves on the Senate Judiciary Committee. In the aftermath of Comey's dismissal, Cornyn said Trump was within his authority to fire him and said it would not affect the investigation of possible Russian ties to Trump's presidential campaign. Rep. Trey Gowdy. The South Carolina Republican is best known for leading the congressional inquiry into the deadly attacks on a U.S. facility in Benghazi, Libya, a panel that oversaw a lengthy grilling of Hillary Clinton in 2015. A former federal prosecutor and state attorney, Gowdy was elected to Congress in the 2010 Tea Party wave and has focused on law enforcement issues. He originally endorsed Florida Senator Marco Rubio for president before backing Trump in May 2016. Former Rep. Mike Rogers. Rogers is the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. He served Michigan in Congress for more than a decade before stepping down in 2015. Rogers worked for the FBI as a special agent based in Chicago in the 1990s and briefly advised Trump's transition team on national security issues. His name was floated as a possible replacement for then FBI Director Robert Mueller in 2013, and he received support from an association of FBI agents before President Barack Obama chose Comey. Ray Kelly. Kelly was commissioner of the New York City Police Department for more than a decade, serving 2 mayors. In the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, he created the first counterterrorism bureau of any municipal police department and oversaw a drastic reduction in crime. But Kelly also came under fire for his use of aggressive police tactics, including a program that spied on Muslims and a dramatic spike in the use of stop and frisk, which disproportionately affected non-white New Yorkers. J. Michael Luttick. Luttick, the general counsel for Boeing Corporation, is viewed as a conservative legal powerhouse from his tenure as a judge on the Fourth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals and his time as a Justice Department lawyer. He was considered for 2 U.S. Supreme Court vacancies that went to Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Samuel Alito. Luttick clashed with the George W. Bush White House on a prominent terror case, rebuking the administration for its actions in the case involving enemy combatant Jose Padilla. Larry Thompson. A deputy attorney general under President George W. Bush, Thompson served as the department's number 2 from 2001 to 2003. Among his most high-profile actions was allowing Syrian-born Canadian citizen Marara to be deported to Syria, where he was tortured, after being falsely named as a terrorist. Thompson also served as U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia and held several high-level positions at PepsiCo. Paul Abbott. Abbott is a senior official at the FBI, currently responsible for the Bureau's Criminal and Cyber Branch. He previously led FBI field offices in Washington, one of the agency's largest, and in Detroit. He's been deeply involved for years in FBI efforts to fight terrorism, serving in supervisory roles in Iraq and Afghanistan and later overseeing FBI international terrorism investigations as a section chief. He's been with the FBI for more than 20 years, and is one of the FBI officials who interviewed this week for the role of interim director. Alice Fisher. Currently a partner at the law firm Latham & Watkins specializing in white-collar criminal and internal investigations, Fisher formerly served as Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division of the Justice Department. Fisher faced resistance from Democrats during her confirmation over her alleged participation in discussions about policies at the detention facility in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. She also served as Deputy Special Counsel to the Senate Special Committee that investigated President Bill Clinton's Whitewater scandal. If selected, she would be the Bureau's first female director. Andrew McCabe. A Duke-educated lawyer, McCabe was named last year as the FBI's Deputy Director, the number 2 position in the Bureau, overseeing significant investigations and operations. Since joining the FBI more than 20 years ago, he's held multiple leadership positions, including overseeing the FBI's National Security Branch and its Washington field office. McCabe became acting director after Comey was fired, but has shown a repeated willingness to break from White House explanations of the ouster and its characterizations of the Russia investigation. Michael Garcia. A former New York prosecutor, Garcia has served as an associate judge on the New York Court of Appeals, the state's highest court, since early 2016. He served as the U.S. Attorney in Manhattan from 2005 to 2008, and previously held high-level positions in the Commerce Department, the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security. John Suthers. A former U.S. Attorney and Colorado Attorney General, Suthers was elected mayor of Colorado Springs in 2015. He is widely respected among state law enforcement and many Colorado Democrats. Suthers was inspired to become a prosecutor after he spent part of an internship in the Colorado Springs District Attorney's Office watching the trial of a gang of soldiers convicted of killing various citizens, including actor Kelsey Grammer's sister, during a crime spree in the 1970s. Adam Lee. Lee, a longtime agent, is special agent in charge of the FBI's Richmond office. He worked in a variety of positions within the bureau. Before Comey tapped him to lead the Richmond office in 2014, he was section chief of the Public Corruption and Civil Rights section, investigating some of the highest-profile cases against government officials and civil rights violations in recent years. He also led the FBI's Global Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and antitrust programs. Henry E. Hudson. Hudson is a federal judge in Richmond who earned praise from conservatives when he struck down the centerpiece of the Obama administration's health care law in 2010. He is a George W. Bush appointee who earned the nickname Hang 'em High Henry for his tough-on-crime stand as a federal prosecutor and on the bench. He became a hero to animal rights activists when he sentenced NFL star Michael Vick to nearly 2 years in prison in 2007 for running a dogfighting ring. Frances Townsend. Townsend was Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor to President George W. Bush after a series of high-profile Justice Department jobs. Among other roles, Townsend is a national security analyst for CBS News. She worked as a federal prosecutor in New York under then U.S. Attorney Rudy Giuliani, focusing on white-collar and organized crime. At the Justice Department, she worked in a variety of jobs including leading the Office of Intelligence Policy and Review, which helped oversee intelligence gathering activities related to the nation's top-secret surveillance court. The fiery South Carolinian who made his name grilling Hillary Clinton over the 2012 attack on a U.S. diplomatic compound in Benghazi, Libya, and the Texan who serves as the number 2 Republican in the Senate are among the candidates under consideration to lead the FBI after James Comey's high-profile firing earlier this week. A senior administration official with knowledge of the situation who was not authorized to speak publicly as a matter of practice confirmed to McClatchy that South Carolina Representative Trey Gowdy and Texas Senator John Cornyn are 2 of 11 candidates on the White House list who could lead the FBI. Gowdy and Cornyn have law enforcement credentials. Cornyn served as a judge on the Texas Supreme Court and worked as Texas Attorney General from 1999 to 2002 before winning election to the U.S. Senate. Gowdy worked as a federal prosecutor from 1994 to 2000 in South Carolina and served as a district attorney before entering Congress in 2011. Whoever is selected for the position will face intense scrutiny from Democrats and Republicans and will be responsible for overseeing the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, along with the typical responsibilities of managing an agency of over 35,000 employees. Neither Gowdy nor Cornyn has indicated a formal interest in the position. On Capitol Hill this week, Cornyn told reporters he's not interested in the position and said in a statement Friday, "I have the distinct privilege of serving 28 million Texans in the United States Senate, and that is where my focus remains." Texas Representative John Ratcliffe said Friday that Cornyn had talked with President Donald Trump about multiple FBI director candidates, including himself. "When I talked to Senator Cornyn, he hadn't made up his mind whether or not he would like to be considered," Ratcliffe said on Inside Texas Politics. "Were he to be, he's certainly more than qualified." Gowdy's office declined to comment. Cornyn, 65, would likely have the support of his Republican colleagues if nominated. He is the second highest-ranking member of the Senate after Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. Gowdy, 52, is despised by Democrats and loved by Republicans after leading the House Select Committee on Benghazi from 2014 to 2016. The investigation led to the discovery of Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. At least one Democrat wants Gowdy to lead the FBI. "Dems are going to hate me for this. The best replacement for Comey is Trey Gowdy," said Bakari Sellers, who ran for South Carolina lieutenant governor in 2014. "He's as honest as the day is long." White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer declined to say how fast Trump would pick a FBI director. "The president obviously wants to make sure that we've got the right person," Spicer said. "And that process is being headed by the Department of Justice." Spicer said the interview process would start immediately but that Trump had not decided whether Comey's replacement should be political or not. "The Department of Justice is screening candidates, and I'm sure that as they feel as though they've got a list of finalists, they'll share that with the president and he'll make a decision," Spicer said. Gowdy and Cornyn are the most well-known of the 11 candidates the White House is considering. The list also includes former House Intelligence Committee Chairman and former FBI agent Mike Rogers, former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, former Assistant Attorney General Alice Fisher, FBI Executive Assistant Director Paul Abbott, Associate Judge of New York Court of Appeals Mike Garcia, Mayor of Colorado Springs John Suthers, Boeing Executive Vice President and former Federal Appellate Court Judge Michael Luttig, former Deputy Attorney General Larry Thompson and acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe. Fox News first reported the list of potential replacements Friday. Comey was abruptly ousted as FBI Director on Tuesday. Initially, the White House said he had been fired because Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein had expressed concern over the way Comey handled the Clinton email investigation. But in an interview Thursday with NBC, Trump said he had been frustrated with the FBI's Russia investigation and that it was politically motivated by Democrats.